If you have ever wondered if you should trust anything the mainstream media says about this election, the candidates and their platforms, or even about our president today, this clip will make you question literally everything you even thought you could believe from the mainstream media. Let's talk about it. What is going on, everybody? Thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream segment of Mikai Says Ukasa. And of course, as always, I am your humble host, Niko House. So the Iowa caucuses have concluded. Bernie Sanders won the popular vote. He and Pete Buttigieg did tie the delegate count, the national delegate count, the delegates that will be used at the convention. And Buttigieg won the SDE, or the state delegate count, by 2 delegates. Once again, coincidentally enough, state delegates don't mean a damn thing, as Bernie Sanders outlined in his speech. So even though we know for a fact that Bernie Sanders did in fact win the popular vote, MSNBC, they seem to believe that that was all made up. They basically called Bernie Sanders everything except for a whole liar. They might as well. I mean, look, we're gonna watch the clip, but I'm just letting you know, if you're watching this morning live, you might want to get your coffee, okay? And you might, if you take medication because you got anger management issues, which given the last 3 years in politics, that would be completely and totally understandable. You might want to take that though, because this is gonna make your blood boil. This is gonna make your blood boil when you hear this clip.
For the very strong victory they gave us at the Iowa caucuses on Monday night. Some 6,000 more Iowans came out on caucus night to support our candidacy than the candidacy of anyone else. And when 6,000 more people come out for you in an election than your nearest opponent, we here in northern New England call that a victory.
I can't find that. Who called it it's not on my... Didn't he tie with Mayor Pete, like the 37-year-old not even anymore mayor?
Well, and you know what's sad, not to tar him with the same brush, but I mean, that how he's disingenuous, to say the least. He's not telling the truth. I mean, part of the problem with Iowa was, and everything we've learned about elections since 2000 is, what do you want to do? Simplify, simplify, simplify. What did the Iowa do in the caucuses? They made it more complex. They had 3 different metrics. So what Bernie is doing is counting that first metric of people who came in that night willing to support Bernie, but many of whom switched to Mayor Pete. Mayor Pete, my heart goes out to him, because having covered many Iowa caucuses and looked for that headline at 11 o'clock or midnight, he would have gotten these incredible headlines, the same headlines that Barack Obama had in 2008.
What the fuck did we just watch? Okay. I don't know really how else to describe that, but absolutely terrifying. That was terrifying. Because yeah, most of their audience is 62 million, 62 and older. Most of their audience. But the casual viewer who's watching it at McDonald's, a doctor's office, etc., they saw that, and they were told Bernie Sanders is a liar, that Pete Buttigieg didn't get favorable headlines, and somehow Pete Buttigieg is the victim, despite the fact that he declared victory that night. CNN brought him on camera to declare his victory that night. never held him to account after doing so and being wrong that night or the days following. And even still, this morning, based off of 2 state delegates that literally don't mean shit, people are still calling him the victor in Iowa. This man had the nerve to say that Pete Buttigieg, that he could have had all these favorable headlines. What the hell did we see for the last 3 days? People, can you explain to me what we witnessed for the last 3 days? Not only were the headlines favoring him, you literally manipulated the polling, or the results, excuse me, to all of a sudden we're counting state delegates. That you go, I went to CNN's website, SDEs, and it says, oh, look, Buttigieg is winning. But then they have two other options over here in the little corner. You click on it, popular vote, Bernie Sanders. National delegates, tied. So what does the SDE mean? What does that mean? It means literally nothing. Mitch Osborne, the deep state psyop is strong with this one. Looks like those intelligence endorsements are paying off. Hey, real talk. Real talk. Here's what's scary. So she opens up the segment. You know, they open up the segment with Bernie saying there were 6,000 people more people that turned out for them than the nearest candidate who was in second place, which is 100% true. She holds up her paper and says, where do we see that at? Where do we see that at? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I was curious too. I said, you know what? I saw this at a lot of places, but I want to know if we could find that particular statistic in any more places. Like, for example, NBC's own website, where it says Bernie Sanders, 45,826 delegates to 43,195. That number says reallocated delegates. In other words, the original turnout is nothing like the reallocation of people. Those people did not show up for Pete Buttigieg. Those people said, well, damn, okay, I really thought Biden was going to do much better than he actually did. Well, I guess we better go to Buttigieg. Or I really thought that Warren was going to do better in this precinct than she actually did. I guess we'll just have to go to Buttigieg. And how do I know that 6,000 number was not made up out of thin air from Bernie Sanders? Well, we'll go to Bernie's second biggest hater in the mainstream media, CNN. And lo and behold, CNN, because y'all know I'm not a mathematician. Okay, we already know this. I'm not a mathematician. CNN went ahead and did some math for me. So that says popular vote for Bernie Sanders, which means people who showed up for him, 43,671. Popular vote for Pete Buttigieg, 37,557. And oh my God, they trails the leader by 6,114 votes. Wow. So on their own website, on NBC's own website, it said Bernie won the popular vote. On CNN's website, it showed that 6,114 more people specifically showed up. More people, I should say, showed up for Bernie Sanders and Pete Buttigieg, who was second place. Thanks for the super chat. FYI, If I wasn't notified of you going live, have you thought of text message doing a text? I don't have that ability. I wish I had that ability. That would be awesome. But I think it's kind of expensive to do that. But eventually we will be doing that. Like as the network grows, and we want to make sure that people get notifications when we upload. But for the time being, we have to rely on email notifications and things like that. But ROKFIN is getting push notifications soon. They already do email notifications, but they're getting push notifications soon. So we just witnessed a straight lie. Disingenuous. Pete Buttigieg at 1.7% results reported declared victory and went on. Aren't Bernie Sanders and Pete Buttigieg tied in delegate count? Aren't they tied? So now they're tied. Now they're tied. So you could find the website. I mean, on your own website, mind you, you could find the link that showed that they're tied in national delegates, but you couldn't find the link right next to that link that showed that 6,000 people did show up for Bernie Sanders, more than the second place person who was Pete Buttigieg. You couldn't find that link? Really? This is terrifying. I don't know how else to describe it. It's infuriating. Yes. Is everybody watching this? No. But even still, they in 2016 they made Hillary Clinton the victim. In 2016 they did that. Even in 2020, they're still trying to make Pete Buttigieg the victim. Oh, I just feel so bad. My heart goes out to Pete Buttigieg because he didn't get the favorable headlines. You mean the headlines where he was before in third or fourth place in New Hampshire on a good day, and now he's second place? Like 2 polls, granted the margin of error in those polls are ridiculous, but 2 of the establishment polls out there have him tied with Bernie Sanders. Now, once again, don't put too much confidence in those polls because other polls got Bernie at like 30%. That's a different discussion. But the point is, even in the establishment favored polls, Pete Buttigieg was third, close to Amy Klobuchar, sometimes getting beat by Amy Klobuchar. It was always Bernie or Biden, then Warren, then Klobuchar, and then Buttigieg. And then Buttigieg started rising past Klobuchar, and he was still a few points behind Warren, and then he just shot up to second place. Like that. Because he lied on camera. And CNN fed into it. But Bernie's disingenuous. In the last couple of weeks, Hillary Clinton said, remember, it's the delegates that count, not the popular vote. Coincidence that they gave Mayor CIA the delegates. Hillary Clinton said, remember, it's the delegates that count. Did she really say that? Did she really say that? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? You know, I find it so funny because I've talked over and over again. I don't want to hear about the nonsense. Oh, Hillary Clinton won 3 million more votes than Trump. I don't care about that. They don't care about that. First of all, that we can neither confirm nor deny that bull, because Jill Stein has caught both the Trump campaign and the Clinton campaign cheating in court right now, dealing with it. So we don't know what they did. We do know that, unfortunately for Hillary, most of the cheating was coming from blue districts, which, you know, the blue people have the control of the machines. And even though you were cheating, you were still losing. That's not good for you. So, but they could say all day that 3 million votes, we need to get rid of the electoral college. I'm like, that was an excuse. It was always an excuse for us to overlook the embarrassing defeat of the presidential candidate who was the most qualified ever. 99% chance of winning. It was an excuse. It's an excuse to get rid of the Electoral College and not replace it with anything legitimate. Simply replace it with the popular vote so that California, New York, half of Florida and half of Texas can determine the outcome of the entire election. That's what they're trying to do. It's not rocket science. And if you needed more proof of that fact, I mean, look at the last 3 days. They not only are they claiming that the popular vote doesn't mean anything all of a sudden the popular vote doesn't mean anything, but they're also claiming that the actual national delegates that our good friend here who just super chatted us reminded us, the delegates that Hillary said we should be paying attention to, those don't even matter. The national pledge delegates that will be counted at the convention don't even matter anymore. It's the state delegates that literally decide nothing at this juncture. They don't mean anything. People ain't gonna stand up at the convention and say, well, we're Team Buttigieg and we have 2 more state delegates. Somebody going, sit your ass down. Somebody ask you about those state delegates. That got nothing to do with what we're doing right now. That's what they're gonna tell them. This is ridiculous. And you know what's funny about this too is, as this lady was disingenuously claiming that Bernie Sanders is lying about the 6,000 voter turnout difference, Joy-Ann Reid goes on Twitter and says 6,000 voter turnouts, it's not even that good, really. Like, is that really revolutionary? Like, so which one is it? Did it happen or did it not happen? Because Joy-Ann Reid works on MSNBC and is saying it did happen, but it's not a big deal. You're saying it's a big deal, but it never happened. So which one is it? Please explain this to me. They're full of it. Copernicus Thinker, thank you very much for the super chat. So the media gave Mayor Cheat a pass when he declared victory with 0%, but pile on Bernie win 100% of the vote is showing that he won the popular vote. Absolutely. Won the popular vote, and they're tied in delegates. And mind you, there are still people reporting that the numbers are wrong. So we don't even really know if that's going to be challenged. But they got to figure out, I'm assuming Bernie's campaign is trying to figure out, are the numbers wrong enough to give him a clear victory to get one more delegate in the state? But I think they might not know if it's worth it at this point. They might be turning their attention to other states to make sure they don't have similar issues. Like, I don't know, in Nevada. The DNC is taking a dive. This is clearly strategy to lose big. You know what? They would rather have Trump than Bernie. They would rather have Trump than Tulsi. They would rather have Trump than Yang. They definitely would have rather had Trump than Marianne Williamson. We're not allowed in their club. Whoopi Goldberg literally lied on television and said Pete Buttigieg won. Lied on television. Pete Buttigieg won and he would carry that momentum from New Hampshire. She lied straight up. Lied. Of course, Whoopi Goldberg belongs to CAA, the talent agency that Robbie Yeager discovered is basically dedicated to making sure that Tulsi Gabbard is excoriated daily on the news. And if she ever stands up, that they're told that, I mean, half of CNN's anchors are under CAA, and people are surprised that she didn't get a town hall. This is what we're dealing with, people. This is what we're dealing with. It's scary. So make sure you're doing your best to educate people. Your friends, your family, whoever you can, wherever you can. Because it's going to get uglier before it gets prettier. I promise you that. If you're on the ground, if you're in the New England area, I hope that you are in New Hampshire right now, preparing to monitor polls, knock on doors, phone bang, go to these events. We need to give as much energy to our outsider candidates as we can. Isn't Cenk under CAA? Yeah, no, actually, I think Cenk is under UTA, but same difference. Same people who started both of them. Cenk and Anna. Pete Buttigieg is going to come under a lot of fire. Oh, that's crazy. I saw somebody actually mention the debates. That's what I said. I was about to say Pete Buttigieg is going to come under a lot of fire tonight during those debates. And I can't wait. I cannot wait. You might actually see me cheer, because you know Warren's about to try to play the game right now. Warren and Klobuchar are coming for Buttigieg's neck. And don't be surprised if Bernie comes for him too, because Bernie did not. Bernie looked irritated. Bernie always looks grumpy or frumpy. That's just his demeanor, right? He's always a very serious person, but he looked irritated the last couple of press conferences that he was like, how dare you declare victory? He lied. This is a coup. Do you know where else this has happened? And our media did the same thing. Before the elections had even concluded, Juan Guaido is saying that he's the one who's actually winning and that Maduro's a liar. Okay, but what about the state that Maduro just won? The election just started. No, Juan Guaido's the president. Damn the results. Juan Guaido's the president. And who echoed the same sentiments? CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, except for Tucker Carlson, which was surprising. Not really, but you know what I mean. What are we seeing right now? Bernie Sanders actually won the popular vote. They're tied in delegates. They could say any of those two things. Those two things are both actually meaningful. But if you wanted to be completely and totally straight and objectively honest, hey, they both have 11 delegates. You know, that would be objectively honest. But instead, they lied. And they picked who they wanted to lie for and in favor of. They are trying to establish a coup. What a surprise. Another young multilingual person brought up through the Ivy League ranks, handpicked and loved by the national security state and the intelligence community. What a surprise. Honestly, whenever Juan Guaido stood up to receive his standing ovation at the State of the Union address, I was like, oh shit, is that Pete? Bro, you got a 10? I was like, oh damn, never mind. It's just Juan. It's little Juanito. You know, Juan, he thinks that because he like fixes his he makes little fort out of blankets in his room. And then he puts on a little cute suit and tie. And he thinks that he's the president now of Venezuela. He's so cute, man. His imagination always gets him in trouble. What am I going to do with little Juanito? But, yeah, man. This is a coup. They're trying to establish a coup. Like, in all seriousness. This is what we're seeing right in front of our eyes. Mitch Osborne. Thanks for the super chat, my friend. Pete is actually worse than Guaido. I think he's a literal psychopath. Yeah. 100%. Pete's eyes are so blank. Like, and the difference between a psychopath and a sociopath is that, like, so sociopaths have high social intelligence and they will do or say whatever they can to be liked, like anything they can to be liked. That's not a psychopath. A psychopath don't really care if you like them. They'll do whatever they can to get their way. Sociopaths like use their likability to get their way. Psychopaths will do whatever they have to get their way. If it means they can be liked for the time being, okay, cool. Or if it means like what Pete Buttigieg did, where he literally went to go apologize to the black community, and then he said by the end of the conference, I don't care, don't vote for me, vote for who you want to. I don't need your vote. What? That's where we're at. Buttigieg did win in the states, in the state delegates that count. No, that's not true. I don't know how many times I have to say that. And Bernie actually explained this in his press conference, if anybody watched it, where he literally said, yes, the state delegates actually did play a huge role in 2016, but the Unity Commission that he established in 2016 to override rules like that made it so that state delegates played almost no role in how delegates were divvied up, which is why you saw where Pete Buttigieg was 3% at one point in state delegates ahead of Bernie, and they were still tied. They were literally tied because after the realignment, they were so close in popular vote, they're only 2,000 votes apart, that the delegates, the national delegates, you couldn't divvy them up. They still belong to each other. Bernie had 10 at one point, Buttigieg had 10 at the same time. Then Bernie got 11, then Buttigieg got 11 at the same time. Bernie said they don't have the role they used to. That's what makes it hilarious, because when the state delegates did have a role in 2016, they refused to talk about them. Not one time did you hear anybody talk about the state delegates. Now, that was when a lot of people were introduced to the power of super delegates. That's for sure. But that's not true. Anybody claiming that the state delegates matter more is manufacturing consent for a coup. I don't know how else to say that. So, like I said, man, if you're in New Hampshire or New England and you can make it out there to campaign, fight for, go to every rally you can. Go to every rally you can. Go to Bernie's. We're going to try to go to Tulsi's, Bernie's, and Yang's rallies out there if they have town hall. I know that Tulsi's having a town hall on Monday. I know that on Monday. I know that Bernie's having something also on Sunday or Monday. We're gonna try to make a Yang town hall. If you got a candidate that you prefer, make sure you go knock on the doors, go observe polling locations. You don't have to vote to be an observer. Go ask questions, go inquire, go to polling locations and talk to people outside of bro. I did that for Tim Canova for hours, bro, for 5-6 hours straight. (2020 and 2016 so far, is it? Receipts matter, and hooray for solidarity and Bernie recognizing Tulsi and Yang for once. Who Burns, thank you very much for the super chat. Yeah, for sure. That was dope. I was really happy to see that. And I will say that 2016 is not 2020 is not 2016 so far, because when I was screaming, bloody murder about Iowa in 2016, nobody was listening. If I'm being real about it, right? Nobody was listening. So the rigging is still here, or the attempts to rig are still here, but the campaign is prepared for it, and people are looking for it now. So we don't have people saying, well, maybe it was just a miscalculation, and maybe it was just incompetence. Like the blue checks that are progressive or consider themselves progressive have been pretty overt now. They're like, okay, this is bullshit. You're rigging it again, right in front of our eyes. So Mitch Osborne, thank you very much for the super chat. Sorry for blowing up the chat. Don't apologize, man. You paying for it. You want to blow up the chat with super chats? That's your prerogative. I'll answer your questions. But Pete campaign surrogate was on Rising the day of Iowa, saying that it would be unfair for Bernie campaign to tout the popular vote instead of the SDEs. They obviously knew what was up. Whoa. What? Wow. Hold on. So you're telling me the morning of, because that's when they do their show, the morning of the Iowa caucus, Pete's guy went on to the Rising and said that it would be unfair to tout the popular vote instead of the state delegate count? Because they basically knew that they can control the results of the SDEs and not the popular vote, because Bernie's people would probably be monitoring that very closely. There are already people talking about the math is off on a precinct to precinct basis for how they allocated the state delegates. So, and they probably also knew, because you put these websites, think about it like this. When you're creating these live results, right? I mean, I'm in the media. I don't do anything half as, important or good as what these people do, because these are engineers who do this all day, every day. But I do have a few engineers on the team that work in production that do complicated things like that to set up live results and live notifications and things like that. Shout out to Johnny and Adrian. So You know how long it takes for you to put a website together? Get everybody's numbers correct. Get all the information that people are going to be looking at, setting up the links. If you have multiple people doing the job, it takes a few hours. And if you want to make sure that it's done correctly, and you have to do it, you do it days in advance, so that you can just launch it when it's time to launch it. So the way that they push these state delegates on the websites, television, they just did little simple graphics. That's easy. But on the websites, they were setting up, once again, go look at 2016. See if you go to 2016's Iowa caucus, see what they tout. The delegate count, the popular vote, or the state delegate count. I guarantee you when I see the state delegate count, I guarantee it. Which means they had already had conversations with everybody behind closed doors. This is what we're going to show. I think it's important to meditate on the reality of the current times of the government and society. Do you meditate, Niko? I do meditate, but not as often as I should. Election season is kind of throwing that off a little bit, but that's once again, that's scary, because you really got to wonder. I did not know that happened. I did not know that he literally said that before, and then all of a sudden, state delegates are the most important thing that's being talked about in the news all the time. Whew. That's crazy. Mitch, if you follow me on Twitter, can you send me the link to that Rising video? I appreciate it. It's at NikoCSFB. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, people, because we got a few other things to cover. So stick around. I'm definitely gonna try to cover that Hill Rising video, because if that's true, if that really happened, that's scary, bro. That's scary. All right. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning into that live stream segment of Mi Casa es Su Casa. Make sure that you are still subscribed, of course. Hit that notification bell. Sign up for ROKFIN. Links in the description. You can follow me there. You can follow the Convo Couch there. You can follow Robbie Yeager at Rob Little Fire there. But other than that, always remember, more than anything else, people, find your balance. Peace. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell if you like that segment of Mi Casa es Su Casa. Of course, if YouTube is giving you trouble, as it always does, you can download the ROKFIN app and follow us there. Also, if you want to continue to help our show grow, you can help us reach our goal of 500 patrons on Patreon and donate as little as $1. Really, anything helps. Other than that, always remember, people, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.